Welcome to my thoughts on the Season 3 and indeed series finale of What If, What If, What If. And yeah, another episode I loved, like most things MCU. Spoilers for everything MCU leading up to and including this episode. The episode, I want to say, was rated 12 plus, so will this video be? And yeah, let's dive right in. Yeah, might be a short video on account of, I'd like to do a longer video, but my back will not stand for it, or in this case, sit. And, yeah, I'll just say the action, amazing, as usual. You know, it's an MCU thing, so of course it's going to end with a huge blowout action scene. I really appreciated the swooping camera, the creative use of powers, and the fact that, yeah, it's not the season finale of, it's not a what if season finale if someone doesn't get new powers. That, yeah, it did happen in season 2 as well, didn't it? I don't remember season 2 quite as well as season 1. I don't think I ever ended up watching season 2 a second time on account of the back pain and everything. Anyway, yeah, love the many Kirby dots. And it was very clever, Infinity Ultron actually defeated Uatu in Season 1. That's why he needed to assemble the multiversal Avengers. But these, yeah, I'll just call them the Trinity of Watchers. The Trinity are barely even slowed down by Infinity Ultron's most intense attack. That's a, classic comic book trope. If you want to establish how tough a character is, have them wipe the floor with a character that used to be not necessarily the toughest, but up there, one of the toughest. They did it with Thanos in Infinity War when he easily defeats Hulk. Yeah, let's see. As usual, some really great character moments. Appreciate that there's not really broad performances here, and the MCU jokes also don't tend to really undermine drama. Didn't really need the thing with, oh, I kind of want to read the fine print. Oh, no, never mind. Let's go, let's see. Yeah, I continue to love every one of these characters. Some really great lines between Uatu and the Eminence. Yeah. The philosophical discussion about watching, and yeah. Right, I appreciate seeing the backstory. The Eminence finishing the training, or finishing Uatu's training. Uatu finishing the Eminence's training. You know what I'm talking about. And presumably you just watched the episode as well, or at least have it in your memory. And yeah, some great lines. Did get a little bit of a, I don't know if it was purposeful, but I did get a little bit of a vibe of, like, Obi-Wan and Anakin. That was interesting. And then, not very long after, Uatu, that was also, I chuckled at that MCU style joke that, I know you will never fail me. You have failed me. That worked for me. But then, not very long after, they bring up Peggy. And, she's like, I decided to come and rescue you. And Uatu was like, good job. And, the Eminence is not mincing words, or sausage for that matter. And just immediately, for this, you will have to dye your hair. We have a dress code. And let's see, yeah, it was really cool when the ship came in. Got kind of a Star Wars vibe off just the ship coming in at the last moment and them going, that was, and this, what ship? That ship. I do like when the answer to what is indeed that. And I really liked Uatu being like, no, we can't actually escape, because, like, we, the audience, have spent, like, an episode and a half getting excited about this rescue. And it's like, the rescue of Uatu. And at no point did we really stop to think, wait, is it possible, though? Because they are more powerful than even Uatu, so it's possible they won't be able to. He never said, don't worry, it's just a matter of time before I escape, kind of thing. There were times where he was defiant after being captured, but he never said, I'll escape, or something like, this plastic prison of yours can't hold me forever, Eminence. Now, I think that does bring us nicely to... Yeah, very clever idea with, Sinister Strange is a universe. His molecules are part, make up that universe, or something like that, so he can take away their powers. That was clever. Very fortunate for the multiversal Avengers that the Trinity believe in, a very slow method of taking them out, And I think I wouldn't have hated if there was maybe some kind of justification for that, because it didn't really seem like there was, because that was before they got the cosmic powers. So, it seems like they should be able to easily, at least the others, maybe not Uatu, but yeah, if it had been that he was like standing and like holding them back and telling them, repeat after me, the oath, but it didn't really seem justified. I know some people don't like which I will admit I did think of, here, the thing in the first Guardians of the Galaxy where, they have to fire the rockets one at a time. There is this thing where, sometimes it takes multiple pressure appliances, whatever, before you break through a certain substance. You might, if they had fired all the rockets at the same time in the prison, right before, or during the prison escape scene, that might not have worked. But it didn't really feel like that here. It seemed like they could have just immediately done. Right, I did really appreciate the stake-raising thing there at the end with, we will erase you from every universe, which that wasn't actually what ended up happening to Peggy, though, right? It was just this version that died, which, I mean, if we genuinely don't see her again in the MCU, since there's no live-action living version either, the original recipe died in Civil War. Captain Carter died before the end of Doctor Strange 2. And now this one's dead. There isn't another variant out there that we've seen, at least. So if this really is the last time we see her in the MCU at all, this was a pretty good way to go out. She saved all these other, every single time that we see Storm, and fingers crossed Kahori, after this point, Storm's a given. There's no way. That was also, I will say, the moment they said, we'll erase you from every universe, I was like, yeah, you're not actually going to, they're going to stop them. But then, it's the MCU. It's fairly rare for the villains to win. And it is, at this juncture, the Trinity are the antagonists, at least. But every time we see Storm from now on, part of the reason she's there is Peggy's sacrifice. And it also, she was ready to sacrifice herself at the end of the very first episode of the show. She does manage to sacrifice herself here at the very end. Steve thought he tried to sacrifice himself at the end of his first movie. Yeah. Let's see. And, and it's also like, Tony was very reluctant to die in his first movie and accepts his death, self-sacrifices in the last... Yeah, let's go with that. The last movie that the original Tony appeared in, at least. Who knows what the future might hold? Is it a spoiler if we, it's not like I haven't seen a movie that you haven't yet, it's just been announced, anyway. Yeah. So yeah, and there at the end, it turns out this whole time when we hear the Watcher give the intro to an episode, he's talking to the Eminence. He's trying to make the Eminence see what he sees. That was quite clever. That works, and that's something that sometimes a TV show will end with. Let's see, and yeah, I mean, okay, so if I understand correctly, basically The Watchers are not going to interfere at all after this point, I guess. Uatu got it out of his system. The Trinity are just going to stay in Sinister's universe and, yeah, watch the sunrise. I really hope they get good Wi-Fi up there, because that's going to get old fast. There's not going to be that many days, before they get tired of that. But, let's see. Yeah, I think this works well as a series finale. It is obviously, I don't know that I really feel like there's something that happens here that we needed all the episodes for. I mean, hypothetically, you could just watch if you want to fully appreciate this season finale, you could just watch the specific episodes for these characters. A lot of them are just in this season. Won't take you very long. I don't think that's really a problem. This was always going to be a bit more of like a side thing that I don't know for sure, but I wouldn't rule out they're selling figures, toys of the various characters, especially there at the end when we saw a bunch of that. That was also really cool. I do hope we see at least some of the ones right before the end credits rolled in something. And hypothetically they could. The multiverse is still out there, just won't be in the context of this particular show. Let's see. What was the other thing? But yeah. This show was never one of the ones that was going to have a major impact on the main MCU. Like when we saw Doctor Strange 2, we did think, oh, that really is Captain Carter, that really is Sinister Strange. Turns out that wasn't Sinister Strange. That was just a different Strange that also went down a dark path. Strange has a bit of a habit of that. That is definitely a thing. Sinister Strange, the evil Strange in that universe, what was it, S3E8, the ones that the one that Black Bolt had to kill. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, but that clearly was not the same Captain Carter as we saw here in the What If show, because that one appeared after. Yeah, both both of them died, but died in completely different ways. There's no way for it to be the same. But yeah, we know there will be. I mean, if they really are doing, I can't believe I'm blanking on the Secret Wars. I want to say, I feel like there's probably going to be at least some multiverse stuff there. So yeah, the multiverse is not completely over. We didn't need 3 seasons, but it feels like they had stories enough for 3 seasons, and I don't want them to try to force, I wouldn't mind a 4th season, but we're not getting one. And if they genuinely don't feel like they have another 8 stories to tell, yeah, I'd rather they stop, quit while they're ahead, And I think that might just about cover the whole thing. Yeah. Looking forward to the next thing. And yeah, depending on how my back feels, the next show, the next new show I start on, the Walking Dead, and I just can't promise it'll be immediately. We'll see. I'm working on improving my back to the point where I can. Anyway, yes. Yeah. Right, gonna do the spoiler-free review most likely tomorrow, although I guess with time differences, maybe for you it'll seem like they came out the same day. Anyway, yeah. At one point, the Eminence points out, why did you feel the need to save, this girl named Madison, spelled with 2 N's and a Y, and it was not where I thought.